How many sunglasses are you wearing?
Well, one for the sun.
One for the
The other
haters?
one to block out all the haters.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, we back. The boys are back. Oscar's back in Vegas. So what day is it? It's Monday.
Monday.
And why did you decide to start day drinking?
Bored.
Bored?
No, some friends were like, hey, come over for a bit. Had some lunch. Got some drinks. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to stop at 2:30. I'll just carry on.
What type of friends do you have?
Well, they live in a park and they wear, sort of rag. No, I'm joking. Very good friends, nice friends, popular friends.
Like what do they do for work?
One of them's an MMA reporter.
Brett?
Yeah.
Funny.
But yeah, I'm sober enough to do this. I'm losing my voice from all the fucking planes I'm on, as you might be able to tell. But if you'd have waited one more hour, I was gone.
All right, let's get into the episode. UFC 288 Aftermath. Let's get into it. What did you think? How was the vibe in the arena for a card? One, the New Jersey crowd. The New Jersey crowd was a bit iffy. And two, it wasn't the most hyped up card there was out there. But on the prelims and stuff like that, there was finishes, which is always exciting. But the co-main and main event both went 5 rounds, which is like, what, an hour and 15 minutes if you add up all the interim, which could have, shaken the vibe up a little bit.
I think the main event started at like 1 a.m. or 12:30.
Really? Oh, that's right. Co-main was 5 rounds.
Yeah, so... And, like, in Miami, it's the same time zone, but I think there are more finishes, so it was, like, a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Izzy walked out at, like, 12:30, I think.
Yeah, so it was sort of... I don't know, it felt longer anyway, but the vibe was... Everyone told me before I went there, like, Newark is a shithole, and don't go out at night, it's terrible, and I was like, it can't be that bad.
Did they
Newark
say why?
Is a shithole.
What did you see? Tell me, what did you see?
When we were lining up to go into the arena, some random dude from across the street just walked over and got in like some media member's face and was like, I saw you looking at me. You were talking about me, weren't you? You fucking motherfucker. And I started like trying to start on him. So that was
Were they talking about him?
No. I think we were talking about Belal Muhammad or Gilbert at the time.
Was it Belal Muhammad that crossed the street to confront you?
I don't know if Belal has that energy, really. But anyway, so it was that sort of vibe, and it was just like dirty, gross, horrible. Don't know why people live there. So I didn't like Newark, and then the crowd, like everyone I saw online, everyone was kind of shitting on the crowd. I didn't really feel that at the time. I didn't really sort of feel like, oh, they're that bad or they're that good. I didn't really notice either way. They weren't good, but they weren't like shit at the time. But I noticed Aljo got booed, and he was meant to be the hometown guy. And then
that was sad to see.
Yeah. And then when
he's from New York though, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's like 20 minutes on the train.
Oh yeah, I see you. Easy.
And then like it kind of ruined the O'Malley thing because everyone was booing Aljo when he won. So when O'Malley came in, it like wasn't positive. It was just everyone was just booing. So it was just like, oh, they got ruined. So yeah, the crowd were a bit whatever, really. But having said that, the card wasn't our best.
I mean, there were some fun finishes. The Kennedy fight, the Dober fight.
They were fucking hyped for Frivola. They loved his KO drive. But yeah, then
even the female fight, I mean, Jan had a nice one. I guess the Kron one would have, frustrated the crowd a little bit. Who's after Kron? I forget. Oh yeah, the guy making his debut. Lopez, yeah, that fight was fucking on.
That was sick. If he had tapped him out, that would have got a massive reaction.
That would have blown the fucking roof off the place.
Yeah. And then with the main event, it was like a technical fight, right? So
I mean, let's have the co-main. The co-main, so what? It was the scramble?
Yeah, so...
Why are you looking at me like that?
For sure, but from what I understand, it was the initial scramble in round 1 kind of tore his shoulder.
He landed on his shoulder?
Yeah, or either the wizard like kind of popped it or whatever. But then you know, then it was very slow pace. And then I think because everyone there wanted Gilbert to win, the fact that Gilbert wasn't doing much kind of pissed them off, and it's not his fault. And then you could see him in the corner, like being really pissed off and frustrated. And I felt bad for him, you know. And then Belal doesn't risk finishes you know, really. So it kind of was what it was.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, like, Belal. Yeah, I'm just laughing because like the Belal and Aljo thing. It's just like there's not much, fan love. But yeah, Belal should have, like, you know, he had 5 rounds to finish a one-armed fighter that was getting discouraged and looked dejected. And man, one thing about Belal, I'll say, is the sound of those body kicks.
They were sick, and that's why initially I thought maybe he'd hurt a rib or something, and that's why Gilbert was flying down until he said in the corner.
I thought he broke his arm or his forearm, because you know how you can break your arm or forearm blocking kicks. Especially minus
so tough. Like you couldn't actually do that. I mean,
okay, actually, Wolverine. Okay,
can you see that scar?
What's that from?
I ran through a window.
Drunk?
When, I actually was not drunk. I was just really excited to be there. There was like a glass door and a glass pane next to it, and I went to open the door and I missed, and I went through the glass instead. It was very cheap. It was in Magaluf, if any Brits are watching. It's a fucking party island, but scummy. And then you could see like an inch of my bone, and I was like, oh, I need to run that under a cold tap. And then like I took like 2 steps and it was just like on the floor. And this woman walked around the corner and she went, "Don't worry, it's a Spanish island." And she walked around the corner and she went, "Don't worry, I'm a retired English nurse." And she fucking...
Nice one.
And then I had to go to hospital. This is day 1 of the fucking lads holiday we were on. Day 1. Went to hospital and they were like, "Oh, we need to check if your nerve endings have been severed." So they were like pulling in my arm.
I find it hard to believe that you were sober, but...
I had only had 1 pint. And then, I think. And then we were in the hospital and I didn't know any Spanish. And Cristiano Ronaldo had just moved to Real Madrid. So I kept screaming at the nurses, "Cristiano Ronaldo's a cunt," like trying to, you know. And then they put me to sleep and did an operation on me.
Yeah, you were definitely not sober if you were screaming that.
Yeah, I think I was. And then like they were like, "You can't drink on these antibiotics." I was like... You
still drank anyway?
Well, I found an old nurse who said you can drink beer, and I was like, "That'll do." And then and the vodka Red Bull was fine too, so it's whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so Belal and Gilbert.
How do you know what Belal's weight in the octagon is? Because he looks big. Like like his fight day weight.
Man, I don't think it's that much. I bet he's like 184 max.
I mean, I don't know. He just looks thick. You know what I mean? Like his quads, his legs. I don't know. He's not a small welterweight.
I didn't realize how much you were checking him out.
I mean, there was a size difference, and then just the impact sound of those body kicks were something else.
Which is new for him, right? Like he has thrown that left kick before, but like the impact was like pretty impressive, and he threw them a bunch. Like it was.
Yeah, Izzy noticed how he was turning his whole body into it. Like Izzy really liked his technique.
Yeah, doesn't finish very often though.
I mean, wow. Like, you know, shout out to Belal. You know, he did what he did, but I mean, that doesn't make a very hyped pay-per-view down the line. Is my only downside of it all.
I mean, I'd love to do a little investigation of this. The Sean Brady fight aside, I'd like to know how many of Belal's fights in front of a crowd have been booed by fans, like for inactivity or lack of aggression.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean...
Wonder Boy, booed. Damian Maia, booed. You know?
I feel like, and I would not want the scenario, Colby would have to win against Leon, God forbid, for that pay-per-view to be exciting at the smallest degree. Yeah,
I don't think a Belal Leon pay-per-view will sell that much.
Yeah, but Colby, Belal, I don't think it would even sell that much because, I mean, but like it would be an entertaining build-up just listening to Colby and like, you know.
Yeah, especially, I don't know if you saw, Colby did an interview with Submission Radio and he keeps calling Belal a racist, which is A lot of race in MMA recently.
Yeah.
But then also Colby said, like, look, by the time I fight Leon at the end of this year, you know, it's going to be early next year before Belal can fight for the title, which means he's going to have to fight again. So we'll see.
Yeah, he ain't fighting again.
I bet he will. I bet he fights in Abu Dhabi.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Against who?
Shavkat or Jack Della.
You really think Belal, who doesn't like to risk finishes, would go risk his title shot that Dana White has said is 100% guaranteed?
Well, he just loves fighting in Abu Dhabi, though. That's the thing, right? He loves fighting in Abu Dhabi. So I feel like he would want to fight there just to avoid missing out on it.
I would say if he's not a risk taker in the cage, he ain't going to risk his position when it comes. It's guaranteed. He's next.
Gilbert said before this fight, he risked fighting rather than risked waiting because you can't guarantee anything. So.
This is true. I mean, but Colby's got.
Are you smarter than Gilbert? I don't think you are.
Nah, but I agree with you in saying that it would not be guaranteed for Belal just because it's Belal. It's not like he went out there. I mean, no, I mean, come on. He could have finished. He could have done more to try and finish the one-armed Gilbert. And I feel like Dana's 100% for Belal is not as strong as Colby's 100% guarantee from Dana. You know what I mean?
Well, Dana looks like he'll stab you if you say Colby shouldn't be number one contender.
Yeah.
Dana's pretty hot on that idea.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like, because, I agree with you on that front. He's not Colby, so I don't think it's as guaranteed. I think, he might have to fight in Abu Dhabi.
Honestly, I don't think I've seen anything as guaranteed really as Colby.
What did Colby do? Is he like... Nah.
I don't know.
Nah, he's not.
I mean, he's a popular guy.
I mean, yeah, it's a guaranteed high ticket selling pay-per-view. So I guess that's just why, maybe. Or something else that we don't know of. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Now we're Belal. That's what Belal said.
Belal. Why does everything come back to race?
I could have made a terrible joke there.
Say it. Let me just hear it. Let me hear it. Say it. Let me hear it.
Actually, I didn't have a joke. I knew if I said that, though, it would sound like I was being naughty.
Well, what were you going to say?
Well, just people with victimhood complexes. I mean, the whites do now. It used to be you guys. Now the whites have a victimhood.
More like your fucking Ku Klux Klan hood. Put that shit back on.
That was quite clever. You're so articulate.
Just me and my friends roasting some marshmallows. No. Okay, let's move on to the main event. But before that, I would say, the card, even though it wasn't as hyped, I liked the finishes, and it was, it was exciting. All right, the main event of the evening. Initial thoughts?
I think I might have actually scored it for Henry.
So you were saying people that were cage side scored it more for Henry, and people that were on TV scored it more for Aljo. Yeah,
but then I thought that, but then my argument kind of falls out when you realize the three judges that were cage side didn't do that, so maybe I was wrong. But also, in press row, where I was sitting, like obviously at the end of every round, we look at each other and go, who'd you score it for? I thought leading into the fifth, Cejudo was up. And then the fifth, Cejudo definitely won, despite the fact the judge...
Oh, no, hold on. I thought I think we had it either 2-2 going into the fifth or 3-1 Aljo.
I mean, it was so close, it's not a robbery either way, but I thought the first round Aljo won with the knees on the ground and the elbow. I thought Aljo won that. The second one, I think I gave Cejudo. The third one, I thought I gave Cejudo. I don't remember really. To be honest, I kind of...
It was so close that you can't even remember the whole 30 minutes where you tried,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And before the fight, I was scoring. I predicted Aljo. I think when I do that, I always score against myself, because I'm a pessimist. So I'm always that probably went to him. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was so there's no robbery. It was fair enough.
Yeah, no robbery. Would you say it's because I don't know when you're cage side, and especially if you don't have the monitors in front of you showing, the live feed, I agree it's a lot harder to score fights because you can't see the angles.
Yeah, you can't see the angles, and if it's like from one direction, sometimes you can't tell if the punch landed or not.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Aljo, I've noticed a couple of things about Aljo. Like Aljo, when he throws a strike, his hands go right back down every time. They don't come back here; they go straight back down to his. So you sort of think like, okay, well, he's going to get countered. So then you start looking for that, and it's like every time, you're sort of like almost scoring something that doesn't land. He also dips violently to the side. You're like, okay, is he being hit or is he slipping it?
No, but what I was going to say is he needs to get rid of that dipping to the side shit. Because all it takes is one head kick and he's out cold. Like, we were seeing that shit all night as he was like, God damn, like...
Yeah, and it got worse as the fight went on.
Yeah,
as the fight went on, he was like, fuck it.
And it was the same side. Was it his left side every time?
I thought either way.
But it was the same side every time, the same side. And I feel like, if Aljo can't get O'Malley to the ground, it's a wrap. Like, it's going to be a short night.
You think so?
Bro, O'Malley's stand-up is leaps and bounds beyond Henry. Look at the reach. Look at the look at the height. In the octagon, O'Malley's head is like here. Aljo's head is like here.
Yeah, but you have to assume Aljo's so much stronger than him.
No, but I'm just saying, if Aljo can't get it to the ground, like on the ground, he'll suppress the striking, but on the feet.
Yeah, but do you think he won't be able to get him to the ground though?
I feel like he can. He can get him to the ground, but also Jan is a great wrestler. Rihanna is a great wrestler, and O'Malley was able to, get up a few times. It's a 5-round fight, but I'm just saying, worst case scenario, if Aljo struggles to get O'Malley to the ground, it could be a short night for Aljo. And two things, because they want to do it for August. Aljo wants to fight in September. I feel like Aljo is not going to get a say in that, and we'll have to fight
100% true. Well, especially because Cejudo today just called out Merab for August as well.
August, yeah. And
I think September they're planning on going somewhere else, right?
Yeah, Australia. And also, what?
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
I thought it's already confirmed it.
It's not confirmed, but I guess it's out there.
Yeah. But I don't want to go to Australia, though, but if it's Australia, it's Australia.
Not? Where would you rather go?
I mean, we fought Rob, I guess, I'm assuming Rob wins. We fought Rob in Melbourne. Now we're going to fight Rob in Sydney.
That sounds to me like you're doubting African power. So, August in Boston with Sean versus...
That was nice, though. I like that, African power.
Thank you. But I think if Sean does fight Aljo and they do have Henry versus Merab as the co-main, that's a pretty good card.
Well, I feel like, because it's May 5th, June,
8th.
July... Oh, I mean, not May 5th, May 9th over here. June, July, August. So Aljo gets, 3-week holiday? And then jumps right back into an 8-week camp?
I mean, for the O'Malley payday.
Yeah, but I feel like it could be a bit of a strain on Aljo's body and could affect his cardio and endurance.
Well, I think, obviously he said at the weigh-ins this was harder than I thought. I think he's obviously said if he beats O'Malley, he's moving up. I actually don't think that'll be an option for him soon. It looks like he's really at the end of being able to lose the weight.
Yeah. And it's showing in his performances a little bit because he's like, he can't. I mean,
he's fighting Cejudo. Cejudo's good.
Yeah, but I feel like because for example, in the Jan fight, the first Jan fight, he was saying how he could go all day in the gym at that pace.
Yeah.
But when it comes to cutting the weight and then doing the fight, he can't go all day, and he was surprised that his body was not keeping up.
He said he did something different for that fight. He said he did a different style of cut, so he said that's what fucked him. But yes, I agree.
But I'd say even still in the gym because he's not cutting weight and whatnot, and he's healthy, he can just go all day. But once you start, taking the calories off and depleting yourself, and he's like 2% body fat. Like, I mean,
yes,
there's no room with the same body fat. There's no room for anything in there.
Even in the 5th round against Henry, it was to me kind of clear that he was avoiding, not running, but he was like avoiding many exchanges. I think he was tired, and Henry was
and Henry was his competitiveness was coming out, and Henry was going for for everything, for everything. But yeah, one thing about Aljo, he doesn't sweat that much. Like even in like round 4, he had like I don't know what it is, but apparently some athletes just don't sweat or perspire as much as other athletes.
That's a weird thing for you to notice, but actually funny. When I was training, I had a fight. When I was training for mine, like I sweat so much that I would get really bad cramps all the time. So I had to like.
Did you buy those UFC gloves behind you and sign them yourself and then hang them up?
That is what I did. Yes, thank you. Do you know I was in a movie once?
Yeah, you showed me.
Okay. Right.
You and your other mate walking down some dark alley looking for God knows what.
No, that's actually a McGregor glove that I bought before I was in the biz.
What do you mean you bought?
I paid for it.
Oh, so it's a signed Conor glove?
Yeah.
How much you pay
that
for
makes
that?
me look like an absolute loser, but I think it was like $100.
So is that how much those go for? When was this? How many years ago?
Would have been after the Dennis Seaver fight.
Oh, that's like years ago.
Yeah. It was a while.
That's like 8 years ago.
Yeah. And now it makes me look like a right nerd.
Yeah. But yeah, Aljo versus O'Malley. How do you see that fight going?
Honestly, I think while Sean showed good wrestling defense and ability to get up against Yan, I think Aljo's kind of like a bit different. His ability to like get the back, like he doesn't just take you down. He actually very rarely just takes you down. He always grapples and finds his way to the back. And I think if he can do that against Henry, who did have good defense, I think he will do that against Sean. And physically they look, very different.
But mass and like muscle and frame wise, I would say Aljo has the stronger.
You would have to assume, right? He looks so much like thicker, and I think that Sean will be the underdog for sure.
And now, even in the post-fight press conference, Aljo pretty much came out and said what he's going to do. What he's going to do.
So he's frail. He's going to grab him, choke him. But it's also like I don't think O'Malley's ever done a 5-round fight. That's another thing.
No.
So.
But hopefully in this semi-long off-season he's having, he'd be trying to simulate those type of things, just so when it comes to fight night, his body doesn't feel like he's been out of the game.
Well, I'm presuming the reason why they did this fight was because O'Malley wanted more time to get better. Like O'Malley hasn't had that many fights either. He's been fairly.
He's had a lot of fights, but I wouldn't say he's not had that many high-level fights.
No, definitely not that. I think Yan was like his big one, and before that,
but he showed up. He won that fight. He showed up.
Yeah, but before that, his best performance was like with the Pedro Munoz.
Yeah.
Weird no contest or whatever.
But I feel like him beating Yan and having that on his resume and going through that type of fight just makes him, even a lot better.
He's had 11 fights.
Yeah, 11 fights. Yeah, but I mean, he's been smart. When you talk about the way he's gone about his career, I call it the O'Malley method.
He deserves a title shot. I'm not saying that. I just mean like experience-wise, 5 rounds, it might be a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like maybe they've got something in this training camp that will be preparing him for that. Since they did ask for more time, and he seems like he wants to go in August. But and I feel like also this is sort of like timing wise, I feel I don't know. Yeah, timing wise, I feel like it wouldn't be the best at Aljo, which would be good for Sean. But the grappling thing is the big X factor.
Yeah, I think Sean's the underdog, but I think striking wise with the length, like if he can get up, then I think when they're on the feet, he will be dangerous as fuck.
I feel like distance, footwork, and not getting behind the black line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shake and bake, circling, pop move. I feel like O'Malley has the stand-up skills to frustrate Aljo into making a bad move or a bad shot into trying to get the grappling.
Well,
especially if O'Malley stays off the fence.
He has the ability to read as well. He can read those errors that Aljo is making. Where Cejudo's Cejudo's so short. Like even if he read it, he can't.
He doesn't have those options.
He did head kick him. He did head kick him, which was pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm surprised Cejudo didn't even try and time the head kick to the dip because it was there for like 4 rounds.
Yeah, I think O'Malley would.
But yeah,
do that.
O'Malley has way more options, way more avenues, and yeah, I feel like footwork, some shake and bake, stay off the fence, don't get behind the black line, pop and move. I don't know. The route to victory is easy for Aljo, but he has to get his hands on him first, which could be
tricky,
proven harder than than initially thought. But shout out to Merab for stealing the night and fucking, oh my god, that shit was so fucking funny.
You look like you're sitting on his jacket. It's the same color scheme.
Hey, am I? Oh shit.
But it's a weird one. Like now Merab's getting. Sorry, now Merab's getting a.
So Cejudo called up Merab today. He wants Merab's head on a plate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Based on this guy.
What do you mean based on this guy? Oh yeah, I heard you in the press. Nice one. Okay, matchmaker Oscar. Okay.
I'm just saying. Yeah, but I think that's a great fight. I'd love to see that fight stylistically as well. Like they're both the same size. I think if you're Henry's size, he will be the favorite, right? He's like so good and so technical. That I think if you're his size, like he's.
Henry looked so jacked though, like his back.
Who did Henry?
Henry was for his 5'1", fucking. He looked jacked. You didn't think so? You didn't think he had he looked swole?
No.
So what did you think of Henry's physique?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I thought.
I've been waiting for this.
Let me hold on. I've got my papers somewhere. No, I thought that he looked fine, but I thought he looked like he'd been out for a while. I
thought he looked strong. He's still been training.
Yeah, but he wasn't ripped. He wasn't shredded. Shredded.
I mean, he's a flyweight coming up to 135. I'm not talking about shredded. I'm just talking about strong. I'm talking about, you know what I mean?
No.
Okay, mister, show me your muscles then. Show me your fucking muscles. Fucking hell.
No. I mean, there was even when I was training, I was never actually in good shape. I looked like a podgy bitch the whole time. Can't shake what you are, I suppose.
Okay, one thing. Yeah, we'll move on from that and talk about the end of the night. Merab stealing Sean's jacket was fucking funny as fuck. I do like the I don't know. I like bringing the next contender in to promo the next fight, but then also should be a balance of letting the winner simmer down a little bit, enjoy the win, and it needs to be maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe the whole WWE thing doesn't. Transfer.
No, they botched it, dude. The reason why it kind of didn't pan out was a couple of reasons. One, Aljo, the first thing he said was, "Where's Sugar Sean?" And Rogan wasn't done talking to him about the fight, so it was oh, not yet. So everyone knew it was happening, but it hadn't happened. And then I thought, when they got in, they both got in each other's faces, but you couldn't. They were so shouty, you couldn't hear what either one was saying. So it wasn't you couldn't hear what their insults were. When DC and Lesnar came in, it was one mic, the other mic, and that was perfect. And then I think having Merab in there doing the jacket thing, which was funny, completely ruined it because it was just chaotic. If they're gonna bring people into the cage, they kind of need to clear it from all the teams and just have those two.
All right, more MMA news. We talked about Cejudo wanting Merab. Oh, poor Tony Ferguson.
Oh yeah, fuck. Don't know how much you want to talk about this, but yeah.
No, I'm just
doesn't look good. Very sad. Yeah.
Wait, what more details came out of that story?
None yet, man. But I think if you're driving fast enough in downtown LA to hit two cars and flip your massive truck, you must have been going pretty fast. And I think why would you be going pretty fast? It's not good.
Is this something that we're gonna see from more older fighters that have taken a lot of damage?
I don't know. I remember when Rampage drove down the wrong way of the fucking highway or whatever. I think I don't know if you can say a blanket we're gonna see this as these guys get older, but I think the Tony Ferguson story could do with some help. I think
before it's too late too. I feel if you've seen the movie Concussion, or follow the fact. Have you seen it?
No.
the one thing I heard about that movie is Will Smith is playing a Nigerian, and his Nigerian
Yes.
accent is fucking horrific. So it
Yeah.
made me not enjoy the movie that much. But I feel like if you look at that, and you follow the stories of the people in that movie and what happened to them, I feel like in 10, 15 years we're going to be seeing a lot of these articles, unless
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I would like
guaranteed. I mean, like, look at some of the damage, some of the damage these people have taken, and it'll be like
Yeah, I'm not denying that. I just think the CTE thing is obviously playing out in real time right now. Thankfully, we're aware of it. I just think that, some of the older guys from Pride and the old UFC, like, I've seen a few of them. They're not in great shape, but they're not, the thing about CTE is it makes you behave erratically, so you can't predict it. Some of these guys just go within themselves, and some of them behave this way. And look,
but there needs to be something there to help the athletes.
I would love to see that, like a
I'd love to see
post-fight.
it too.
Yeah, and even if you're the UFC now, I think you should probably really be looking at Tony and being like, "What do we do with this guy?" Like,
Yeah,
Do you
before
really-
it goes down like
okay.
a Stephen Bonner path or something.
like, do you really want to? Do you want to book that guy in a fight to take more punches to the head? I don't know.
I mean,
But then also there's the BJ Penn argument where it's like, well, that's the only thing that kept him like on the straight and narrow and stuff. So it's tricky, man. Sad.
yeah, sad.
Thanks for bringing the podcast down. You see, Khamzat was complaining today,
About what?
saying that it's not his fault he's not fighting. He's waiting for them to give him a fight, and he would happily fight.
Well, he needs to stop hanging out with his best buddy, Kadyrov.
Yup. I would say that's an issue. Yeah, could
I
be.
mean, it's either you break up the boys or your fighting career. You know?
Bros before KOs.
Pros before genocide. I mean, or whatever. Genocide before Korea. Whatever.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Yeah, but one thing I did like is next week's card. We're not going to go through it now, but I like that it's a fun fight night card. Like it's
a fun, easy one.
Card.
It's on
Yeah.
ABC, and the Nate Diaz Jake Paul presser is tomorrow, so that'll be interesting.
Ooh, that's right. I thought I thought Nate was in fucking
In jail.
jail.
No. Yeah, no. So we'll see. I mean, it could be interesting. He might not show up or something, but I'm flying there at 5 a.m. It's going to be great.
Where is it? New York or LA?
Dallas, Texas.
Why's Dallas? Where's the fight?
Dallas, Texas.
What stadium?
Arena.
Why Dallas?
Don't know. Texas Commission, maybe.
True that.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay, buddy.
I will let you get back to your day drinking. Bro, you have a
Yeah.
flight at 5 a.m. and you're day drinking.
Yeah, that's why I'm day drinking, so I'll be asleep early enough so I can catch the flight. That's the whole fucking point.
Wow.
Tactical.
And on that note, I'll see you later.